Hello everyone, my name is Ziamaro and welcome to Battlerite Sage. Today we've got a replay from Panda Beaver. They're a Platinum 4 support main looking for help with supporting a melee who seems to be running away all the time. I chose this one today because I think it's a pretty common problem people have in solo queue. Whenever I choose a replay to go with, although I'm trying to help the individual who sent it in, I'm also looking for something that will be able to help the maximum amount of people. And there's actually quite a lot to work with here. I'll be giving advice both for people who are supports and find themselves in this situation often, and for the DPS players who are on the other side of this situation. So let's just jump straight in. In this first round, I'm going to focus a little bit on positioning. In 3v3, you can just hang around in the back as a support, but in 2v2, your damage output, even as a support, is really important. So although you should play safe, you should still position yourself in a place where you can actually output some damage as well. So right here, you end up getting backed up into the enemy spawn. And at this point, it probably would have been good for both of you to focus on the Rygon, but your teammate seems to have a bit of tunnel vision for the healer. So always remember, in solo queue, you can't control what your team does. All you can do is control what you do. So with that in mind, let's go back a little bit. So the Rygon moves onto you, and your Rukan moves onto their healer. Instead of backing off into the enemy spawn, you should have moved towards the middle where your teammate is. Try to remember that your melee teammates can only peel for you if you put yourself in a range where they can actually help. So something you might notice is that the Rukan never seems to focus the Rygon when his abilities are on cooldown, and that's something that I'll come back to in the next round. So here's a mistake both you and your teammate were making. Every time you were under fire, you seem to be kiting in the opposite direction to your teammate, so you're just running away from them where they can't even help. You get hit by a bit of a wombo ult combo, but personally I wouldn't use my hop here because you were almost out of the ult anyway. I like to think of supports this way. The heals are for your teammates, and your mobility and peels are for keeping yourself alive. Let's just go back again quickly and I'll show you what I mean. So right here, you could have healed yourself a little bit behind the wall, but as you'll notice, your teammate is taking a lot of damage and you're too busy healing yourself. Of course, he should have stayed in your tree, but as I said, you can't control your teammates. When you're getting wailed on like this, it's better to use your gust rather than just spam heals on yourself, because like I said, your heals are for your teammate. So keep yourself alive with your defensive cooldowns. Position yourself in a place where your team can actually peel for you. And if you get both of those things right, you should be able to heal your teammate a little bit more, which in an ideal world should always be your priority. Moving into the second round, I'm going to focus on your teammate a little bit. As I said, you can't control what your teammates do, but if you're watching this as a DPS player, there's a lot to learn from this. Target focus is really important, and Rukan's target focus was pretty poor. As a DPS player, and even as a support, what you're looking out for is someone blowing all their defensive cooldowns, and the Rygon does it a lot. So here, he casts his space, and then he uses his parry. At this point, Rygon has absolutely nothing. When you see a Rygon with no space and no parry, you should drop everything and focus him. He's incredibly squishy when both those abilities are down, and that's the main reason you don't see him at high ranks. But hold on a second. Moving away from target focus for a second, I want to show you what put you on the back foot for this round. So, remember when I said people's defensives are down, you drop everything and focus them? Watch this hop. Maybe it was a misclick, but that one misuse of that ability probably lost you the whole round. I think the Rygon identified that your space was down and then focused you. For some reason, I didn't actually see you use your gust at all in this game, and that probably could have helped a little bit. Obviously, Gust has a pushback, and especially if the melee has already used their gap closers, they're going to really struggle to keep up with you after that. Playing with a melee teammate as a ranged support can be difficult sometimes, but one of the greatest things about playing with a melee is it's very clear who they're focusing. And regardless of who your teammate is, what I would always recommend as a healer is just hit whoever your teammate is hitting. And as I said, with a melee teammate, it's incredibly easy to see who they're focusing. There is actually one more round after this, but I think most of what you can learn from is just in these first two. So these are the things that I would take away from this game. First of all, when you're kiting someone, try and kite them towards your teammates. Both you and the Rukan made this mistake multiple times in this game. Secondly, as a healer, try and use your positioning and your defensive cooldowns to keep yourself alive, and that way you can save your heals for your teammates a little more often. And finally, try and keep track of your enemy's defensive cooldowns and try and focus them when they're down. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, then please feel free to subscribe for more Battlerite guides, news and discussion. And don't forget to check out twitch.tv/BattleriteSage. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.